C'est quoi tout ça, Ali, là?
Quoi, ça t'intéresse les bestioles?
Oh, mais ça m'intéresse à mort.
Fais gaffe quand même, hein.
T'inquiète, je te dis, moi je suis un pro. Je te ramène à la maison.
First of all, I'm very sick, so I'm going to sound very weird during this review, but the show must go on. It's been a long time since we were blessed with some good spider horror, and right now we're fortunate enough to have multiple hitting the scene. Sting, which I highly recommend checking out Cody's review of, takes a more comedic approach, while Infested goes right for the throat. And they both have a place in our wonderful genre of horror. Because if there's one thing that's been missing, it's those creepy crawleys that we know as spiders. Infested follows Caleb and his sister as they're trying to keep their lives together after the death of their mother. Caleb has a fascination with bugs, and when he brings home an exotic spider, he makes the mistake of not properly caging it. What he unleashes onto his apartment complex is an unimaginable horror of deadly spiders that will not stop breeding and getting bigger and bigger. When I tell you that these spiders don't mess around, I mean that. Get ready to develop a slight case of arachnophobia. Director Sebastian Vanisek was thrust into headlines earlier this year when it was announced that he would be directing the next Evil Dead film. All the more intriguing is that he won the job because of his work on Infested, and it sure is earned. There's a meanness present here that cannot be denied, with a wonderful blend of practical and digital effects. But it's his control of the camera that made me really excited at all of the possibilities. The camera work here is top-notch, with some tricks being utilized to really give the film more production value. Infested is extremely intense, making full use of its creepy crawly villains. Not since Arachnophobia have spiders been so well utilized in a horror film. But don't be fooled into thinking that this has the same lighthearted humor of the Frank Marshall classic. This film is mean and never cracks a joke. The kills are brutal in their intensity while still staying within the lanes of realism. There's a great bit involving a timed light which gets multiple payoffs. Hell, every setup has some kind of great payoff. One of the only real issues that I had with the film was the main character of Caleb. Remember the guy from the Evil Dead remake that reads the book and unleashes bloody fury amongst his friends? That's Caleb. He's one of those protagonists who is constantly doing ignorant things that result in chaos. He claims to be a big expert, yet is constantly making mistakes with the bugs. He often comes across like a petulant child, which can be frustrating. Despite being a spider movie, there's still plenty of focus on the humanity of it all, though not all of it is pretty. Infested does a great job of highlighting how much the world doesn't really care about singular events. So long as it doesn't affect them, most would rather just turn a blind eye. And this furthers the trope of police doing more harm than good, giving the characters even less hope for salvation. The only people they can rely on are themselves. I'll be honest, by the film's end, I was rooting for every character's demise. A man can only take so many dumb decisions and incessant screaming. But I'd argue it doesn't really harm the story a ton, as most are watching for the spiders, and that element is spectacular. This is simply a conduit of fear, and with how rampant the fear of spiders is, I can imagine this affecting many, because Infested managed to make my skin crawl in a way that I haven't felt since I was a wee lad, and for that, I'll be forever grateful. Which is why I'm giving Infested a 9 out of 10. I can't wait to see what Vanisek gets up to with Evil Dead. Infested is currently playing at the Overlook Film Festival and will be streaming on Shudder on April 26th.